So for everyone joining, what we're going to do in this class, we're going to look at some finals, the Adobe Max poster, and if they look at all like the roughs, they turned out pretty well. Then we're going to talk about the golden section and divine proportion, and I'm going to try to draw on the whiteboard. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the vocabulary 5, which is on grids, a little bit behind on the vocabulary there compared to where we are. And then we will start assignment 7, which is about researching a typeface. Okay. Who wants to go first? Anyone got their Adobe Max poster already pulled up?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, it's not too different from the rough because there's a lot of aspects that worked well with the rough, but I made sure to have the make plans to join us. That whole paragraph will line up with the all together. I was also able to fix the 400 plus. It was making a very kind of harsh look on the eyes because the 400 was just at the tip of the lower left leg of the A. And then, yeah, I made maxadobe.com. I made the website bigger and made it red just so that it showed more emphasis on it. And I'm talking right now, but I want to make sure that you can hear me.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like some small things that like I noticed with Nick's, he added, like made the and more have like a little bit, like have a different font or just like he emboldened it.
Yep.
So I made in many more as well, bold, because I liked that, what he did.
Okay.
I moved the date over to the right side, made sure that the alignment was also paired to the right, so it looked decent. And yeah.
Okay. One of the things I think is really working about this is it is basically a column grid, but in several places you are breaking the column, like in the title, the main title, Creativity Conference, and the paragraph about making plans. Mm-hmm. But then in the middle of that, you're going with the column. So good use of alignment. Any thoughts from anyone else? Things that are working, things you think Noah ought to change?
I think this is a pretty good step up, even though most of it's just kind of, small little tweaks. But I think the little tweak kind of ended up really helped finalizing this poster.
I hope you guys, and that's great that you say that. I hope that you guys realize, I think the rough stage where you're making little tweaks, I think is key to taking, and I'm definitely repeating myself, taking good designs and making them great designs. Okay, let's see who is next. We can go backwards. Nick, do you have yours to show?
I do. So the little tweaks I did were turning the mid text to white instead of black, making the text more tapering outward as it comes down in the triangle. Same down here at the bottom. And I did my best to kind of shuffle some of the names. You can still kind of see the shape there, but it's a little more jagged along the edge.
It's not quite so distracting with the little, it was such a, it looked like it was on purpose. So now it looks like text.
Gotcha.
With an edge. Yeah.
Personally, I liked the change to white on the background. I think that definitely worked better.
Initially, I didn't think that would look that good, but that looks very good. Okay. thoughts by other people? What do we think that is working on this poster for Nick?
Yeah, well, I just want to mention again with the text, it's like it follows the order of or I guess the hierarchy. It's almost like the darker colored fonts are on top of the white, and the white objects are on top of the the mesh of different colors. And so it being white font actually follows that same order that was established with the shapes, creating a I guess I don't know if it's the right word for it, but unity, because yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah,
It
you're
makes
right.
sense.
The white text with 400 experts does sort of go with the hierarchy of how he is using the colors. Okay.
Yeah.
Good way to put that. Anyone else have some thoughts? Yeah, good use. I think it's good use of getting the words more in the triangle shape, because did you change how Adobe Max was done? Was the
Nope.
Max always sideways like that?
Yep.
Or
Adobe was always sideways like that. Max always came
oh,
outward.
okay. That's working great. Okay. I'd forgotten that part. Any other comments for Nick? I mean, one of the things about this Adobe poster in general and conference, where there really are almost no rules as far as how they let you modify their logo. Okay. Thank you so much, Nick. Let's see, Jenny, you want to go next?
Yeah. Let me see if I can share. There we go.
Great. And I don't know that anyone else has seen your roughs, so tell everyone your thoughts on this.
Oh, I don't know what thoughts I have. I didn't go with color. I kind of just went with more like a classic black and white and like shades in between. And then yeah, that's pretty much mostly what I did. And then I just did like a little like boxes. I used a lot of like boxes to help with my layout.
Okay. So you actually put boxes around your grid, which is certainly fine. Tell us about you and I, or tell everyone else, you and I talked about aligning like the Adobe and how you put the words in the stroke of the M, but talk about the changes you made from your thumbnail to that. I don't remember Adobe was sort of stuck out there, not necessarily lined up with that X, and then
Right. So at first, this Adobe was in the middle right here, and then you suggested to put it on the X, and I think that makes so much more sense. Like it.
And I think Creativity Conference was also either not lined up with the top of the M, possibly either, and you changed that too. So. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of like, I did a lot of just alignment. Oh, also the words right here on 400 experts and luminaries. I just highlighted 2 words on there.
Okay.
To make it stand out a bit more.
Okay. Class, what are your thoughts on Jenny's poster? What's working?
I really love the idea of having the featured headliners be that leg. I think that's very, very unique. I want to expect that.
Yeah, that's working good. And it is unique. It's a little small, but I thought it worked so well that I thought we'd keep it. Other thoughts?
I did want to say that the entire design kind of looks like an old newspaper, which I think is a pretty good idea.
Okay. Jenny, were you thinking about that when you did this?
Yeah, I was thinking more of like an old style, like a more classic old style, because I know their style right now is a lot more like colorful.
It's off the scale color on some of the current examples. Okay. I'm looking at the featured headliners, and it looks like one or two lines are one word in there. Can you zoom in there? Yeah, like it just says Adobe and product. Oh, it says Adobe Cloud. It'd be
Producer.
great, and it says journalist, producer. It'd be great if it wasn't just one word. It's almost like a lot of orphans on there. Although you want it to go, I see why you did it, because you want it to go all the way to the edge and make the M stroke stand out. That's the only thing you might play around with. You could even change it by moving the next name up, behind, move that up. So just a thought, minor detail.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a struggle just to get that to line up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you want some lines to go all the way to the edge to make the stroke of the M work. So I get what you're doing. Okay. Okay. Why don't you unshare, and then Daniel, want to share yours?
Okay. So I made some minor changes, and specifically the biggest change over here would be in this left-hand corner. And I did take some of the suggestions, like for example, the right column on the featured headliners used to be longer than the left side.
That's right. Okay.
I'm I'm trying to remember which middle name I actually ended up taking out.
Okay.
Just because when you pointed it out, it made me see it a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Anne. It used to be Anne Marie, I think.
Okay.
And then it just made it stick out like pretty much out to here, if you could
Okay.
see my mouse.
Yeah.
And then I took that out just specifically for the design purpose. Obviously, that could change if it was for like an official design. I would have to obviously ask for permission on that.
Right. And some people care and some people don't.
Mhm.
I let people do whatever I want to my name, because my name is just so crazy and messed up anyway. But some people are very picky about it.
Mhm.
Zoom all the way out so we can see the whole poster. Okay. Class, thoughts for Daniel, things that you think are working?
You know what? I think he did a good job at making. I'm glad that he that left like the gray bar. It looks a lot much better than it was. And it was all like very small things that he did to it, but it really it kind of brought it all together.
Yep. Any other comments? I see something you might have to fix. In the list of feature headliners, under Gwyneth Paltrow, Common has gotten messed up. It's almost like her title, but the rapper is a new person. So you might have to make
right.
Common, and there's a weird period stuck out there after Common.
Yeah, that is weird. It might have got messed up when I moved
Yeah.
Zach Braff.
And
So fix
I don't
that.
know if I forgot if this was said or not, but the Ao Weiwei, it says contemporary artist and activist
Oh, it
twice.
says twice. Oh yeah, might as well fix that. Perfect.
And then with Naomi Harris and Naomi Harris actress, the spacing was, if it was just like brought down a little bit more between
Oh, you just need a
actress
space. Yeah.
Wes Anderson, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Also, something to think about, Daniel, over there where it says register now, and you have register now on two lines. And I get that you're trying to fit it in the column. I almost want to see if you can't get register and now on the same line, and then everything else can be whatever.
I possibly could.
Just see. If it doesn't work, that's fine. But usually you want register now, but maybe, play around with that. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Okay, zoom back out.
There are quite a few names in the luminaries that are doubled up on. like Lauren Hom in the middle column. There's quite a few names where like the last name goes on to the next line and the first name starts at the end of somebody else's last name.
Okay.
You can see it in a lot of you see where there's lines that have single names on them in the
Yeah,
middle
like
column, for example.
Nick Longo, and yeah. So just hit
Tony
that.
Harmer.
Yeah. You shouldn't change your spacing on that column because you've got a name. So just make sure that the name is actually all on one line. See what he's talking about?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Minor changes. Daniel, on the rough, was Max in white or was that always in black? All the repeating Maxes, was that always black?
It was always black.
Okay.
Something I do wish I could have figured out, because I'm new to InDesign. I tried looking as much as I could. What I really wanted to do, was see if I could stretch out Max the entire way, but lower the opacity as it goes down.
Okay. I'm sure there's a way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, because we were talking about Max being the same width as the word Adobe.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you can fix that in the kerning. If you highlight Max, and we can't do that now, obviously, but when you go into InDesign, if you highlight each word Max, or do one of them, put your cursor in between the M and the A and hit the space bar, you should be able to increase the space between the M and the A and the A and the X, and then copy it on down. And that should be, and then, yeah, to do each one, you'd have to change the opacity. It should be all over there in the once you highlight that area, you should be able to change the color on each word in your,
because that's what I thought it would be, because that's where I'd seen it before.
Daniel, if you can come in on Wednesday at the studio, and you and I can pull up InDesign, and we can play around with it.
Okay.
And not least at all, but Ariana, can you share your poster?
Yep. Let's see. Can you see that?
I think so. Hit the whole page thing, so we can see the whole thing at once. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Great. Tell us about it.
So I did enlarge the Adobe title up here, and instead of leaving the diamonds on the top right here,
All
I moved
right.
the featured headliners up, as well as the 400 names up as well, and then elongated the diamonds to make it seem like it's grouping the words almost. And then I also changed them into different colors as well.
I think that works much better than when you just have the diamond sort of being white like the logo. Okay. Great. Class. What things are working on this poster?
I really like the background. I like the diamonds. I think the diamonds were a good choice. Maybe with the implication, like the actual look of the diamonds could have been worked on, because it looks like it was just copy and pasted, moved over, but that kind of makes it look not as balanced, because yeah, it's just small things.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
the
white
diamonds
looks
are
really
not
good on that background.
Yeah.
And I like that idea of having it be scripted by those diamonds. I think that's a good choice.
The diamonds are not the same width, are they? Because they're the width of the text, right, or not?
Well, I did copy and paste. I don't know why they seem
Okay.
different. And the other one that's kind of confusing that I'm looking at it more. Again, I could just tweak it later.
I think it's
Looks like
a visual illusion because you've got featured headliners is left aligned and then
Yeah.
400 luminaries is center aligned. So we have
Yeah.
this gap on the right side of the left diamond, whereas it's kind of an even width on the right diamond.
yeah. I think so. I think they're the same, but you're right. Our eyes are seeing them as wider because of the negative space.
Mhm.
So you might just have to play around with that and maybe make the diamond slightly wider or narrower on the left, on the under the featured headliners, maybe. Okay.
I see a couple things I'd like to comment on.
Sure. Go ahead, Nick.
So I believe Adobe's logo actually uses a lowercase a, kind of makes the width of all the lowercase letters uniform, gives them a nice width because you notice how the capital A kind of makes it look wider than the rest of the letters, and it kind of throws off your center alignment, or it appears to anyway. So
Okay.
I'd probably try it with a lowercase a in the title.
Okay.
The max in the center, I like it, but that bottom shape is
This
off
one?
with its, I would probably lower the point of the bottom triangle. That way you give the right angle more of like it makes it longer. That way you can stretch the corner of the top triangle out to the left edge, and then you can just line up the gap so it's even with like the
Yeah,
bottom left of the top
those are
one.
really
And I would try that. Nick Offerman's title looks a little too close to the Creativity Conference October 20th. It's a little distracting for me. I'd probably try swapping his name out with somebody else's up top. Maybe put Nick Offerman somewhere towards the center, like where Zach Braff is, and bring Zach Braff down so his name is away from that information. And I'd probably give a little more emphasis on the titles. Featured headliners looks like it might be bold. It looks a little brighter than the rest of the text. Maybe try bolding like the 400 experts and luminaries so it stands out from the rest of the text. And like the all together now, all around the world at the bottom underneath the luminaries, kind of give it a bold or a size increase. That way it stands out from the rest of the text on the right.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
But I like a lot of the choices you made. Good job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great suggestion on the where it says October 2022 and how that featured headliner is sort of encroaching on that. That's a good suggestion. Very good. Great. I was not going to make that one. I didn't even see that. Okay. Good suggestions. Trying to think. Looking pretty good. Okay. I think we've got it. Oh, yeah. So I do think, to echo one thing Nick said, I think when you have the headlines, like feature headlines and the luminaries and some of the other things at the bottom, like all around the world, definitely maybe either bold those or increase the size.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Let's see. Did we miss anyone? I don't think so. Okay. I am going to try something just crazy. I'm going to try to share my screen and draw on the whiteboard. Let's see if I can do it. So, you guys see the whiteboard?
Yes.
I can't quite see it. I see whiteboarding in progress.
Let's see if it comes up in a second. So there's nothing white. You still see my face on the screen? You don't see the whiteboard?
No, I just see it says it's like a black screen and then it just says whiteboarding in progress. For now, only members of this organization can participate. Soon you'll be able to.
Interesting. Bummer. So I can see it, but you guys can't. How about now? Did all of a sudden change? No?
No,
Have a white screen.
it's still the same.
Still the same. Darn it, darn it, darn it. That's annoying. Okay.
Well, I think what it is, it says that I'm outside your organization. When I look at the participants, I notice that everyone but me and Jenny are
yes.
outside. So I think it might have just been the particular maybe email I used, or maybe I'm just not a part of the class.
Yeah, but it's interesting. When I was trying to do it earlier, it worked, and it's showing on my screen, and it's showing that it shared it, but I didn't get that error message. I'm gonna try it one more time, just for the sheer curiosity. I thought, let's try it one more time. So it's just not. So you guys don't see the whiteboard. It's still showing, not just still showing my face.
It just says
Yeah, okay.
that it's in progress.
Bummer. Okay, so much for that. Well, I will talk then. Well, let me try one more thing. I don't think this is going to work. That's not going to work. So I'm back. You guys can see me?
Yeah, I went ahead and switched the account I was using. So now I should be able to see your whiteboard.
Okay, I'll try it one more time, but I don't think anyone can see it. So
Oh, not anyone can see it? Okay.
yeah, I don't think anyone can see it.
I
We'll
was
try
able
it.
to see it, but I mean, I can see it too. Again,
So Noah, can you see the big whiteboard with me drawing on it?
It's just black. It doesn't show that I'm outside the
No?
organization anymore, but it's just
That's
like
the squares.
yeah, I see squares top left.
Square. Did you see me draw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it's still showing my picture, and it's just showing in y'all's top left screen or something?
It takes a minute to load them because like I can tell when you're drawing, but then it takes a minute to load up on the screen.
How about Ariana? Can you see me drawing? Draw a triangle?
I can see the white. Oh yeah, I see the triangle.
You can? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone not be able to see the whiteboard in the triangle right now?
I can't.
I can't. So what email are y'all using? Personal email or like school email?
I'm using the school one.
School
Yeah.
one?
School email.
School one too. Okay.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to try drawing on the right board. Let's just try it, even though you can't see it. And Jenny, if you can't see it, that's okay. Just by talking about it, you should be able to get most of it. And I'm going to try to do it in Illustrator too, and put it up there. So there is a video out on the content that talks about divine proportion, but I just want to show you guys some of the variations of this divine proportion, because that video mostly was talking about a rectangle. So divine proportion, or called the golden section, golden mean, golden, all kinds of fill in the blanks, is a interesting phenomenon based on a lot of math, but also based on just division of space, mostly into 1/3 and 2/3. And that's generalizing a little bit, but that's okay. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with a rectangle. And many things in nature and many things that we have designed for us use divine proportion. And so I'm going to draw a little bit and just to show you some things. So the standard divine proportion that people think about is the rectangle. So you have the rectangle, you divide it in thirds, and then you keep going. You can go in and rotate in and divide. So this is sort of the classic seashell thing that you see all the time. This thing right here. So, and this twirls in where you hit. So that's the classic way to do it. The other way to do it is I twirled in there. Now, instead of doing this, I could just keep going out. And so let me get rid of this line here. So when you do divine proportion this way, you will, what is that? It is and I'm not doing a very good job of this. So this divine proportion, the other spiral in is the seashell. This can be an oak leaf. So oak leaf design is this rectangle going in like this, and then you have one at the end. Okay, not the greatest drawing by me. Okay, so there is divine proportion using a rectangle going the other way, and that ends up being an oak leaf. But you don't have to do a rectangle. You can do this in a triangle. So there's, again, several ways to do this. There's the divide in half and then go this way, spiral in. That's one type of divine proportion. And again, that produces the seashell effect, like that, curving in. But then there's the other divine proportion where you don't curve in, you just keep going toward the end. And you could go the other way too, if I can do it. So this, anyone recognize that? What shape is that you see in nature? Anyone guess what that might be? Snake scales. So rattlesnake scales, copperhead scales, they do this. You just have to double it. So then it would do this. So snake scales do that divine proportion. So then you don't have to, let me erase a little bit more. This is sort of interesting. So then you don't even have to do geometric shapes that are square. So you can do divine proportion in circles. So this is the half circle. Divide it in half. Then you start to do the triangles. And you drop down. Anyone recognize that? Not in nature, but around you. Anyone recognize this?
Car.
Yeah. So this is the VW Bug. The VW Bug is all divine proportions, the new one and the old one. Even the antenna somehow, and I'm not that good about math, but the antenna sort of comes off like this. The antenna, everything about the VW Bug is divine proportion. Where they have the wheels, where they put the headlights, then they do another thing like that. The headlights are here. Everything they did is divine proportion. So just to show you the different ways to do that, so then you don't even have to do so just the line. If you take a line, go halfway up. What's this? In nature.
Tree branches.
Tree branch. Yep. So just tree branch. Now, tree branches don't always do this, but if you start to look at tree branches, and you can see they do it a lot. They're not perfect. Okay. So you can do divine proportion of almost anything, from it's a line to a circle, half circle, triangle, anything. And it's an interesting way to design and think about things. So anyway, okay. So there was my try at using this thing. Now let's go back to unsharing. Okay. Back to just seeing me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Okay. The vocabulary, I think that it's 12 o'clock. I think we're not going to go over chapter 6, which we sort of went over, but we didn't have a vocabulary on there on chapter 6, which is just the grid system that went with the last project, the poster on the. So vocabulary 5 is going through chapter 6, and it's just the definitions, the same old vocabulary we've been doing. And so I added that vocabulary. And we're not going to go over that because I want to make sure we have enough time to look at assignment 7. Okay. I'm going to share again. And let's see. Okay. So assignment 7, and we have done a lot of posters in this class, there is no doubt. But it's an easy way to, present things in type, and we will do other things. So assignment 7 is basically researching a font. Has everyone looked at their assignment? I can't share this with you guys, but I think, Nick, you've got Futura. Ariana, Ariana, I misspelled your last name or added an extra letter. Ariana, you have Helvetica. Leah has Baskerville. Jenny, you have Universe. Daniel, you have Georgia. And Belinda has Garamond. So that's the assignments, and that's in the project sheet when you can see those. So basically, I've assigned you a typeface, and we're going to do some research into that typeface. And so you got to find out who designed it, when did they design, sort of what era, what classification is it? Is it sans serif? Is it serif? Is it grotesque? Is it slab serif? All that type of thing. Then you're going to write an essay, and this can be an essay in paragraph form, but it can be outlined. Literally, you can say this is the name of the font and then write on it. You could have it be quasi outline form with some sentences. Then I want you to find, and I'm going to show you some right now, and some are on the Blackboard module. I want you to find 10 examples of posters, and it doesn't have to be for that font that you like. Some examples, and to just give yourself some research. So we're going to do an essay, which we're writing. Then we're doing some research, and then the standard thumbnails. We'll do some thumbnails, then we'll do some roughs, and we'll do the final for this poster. So there's a couple little things on there, which we'll talk about a little bit more when we get toward the final. Okay. But it's a poster. It's 11 by 17. The things we want to have on the poster are a little varied. So obviously you can use colors, you can use shape, you've got to use the font. You can have the name of the designer. Okay. You can have the obviously color, shapes, lines. We're not going to add any pictures, extra pictures, although one example I have certainly violates that rule. And I'm open to violations of that rule if it's really good one, if you've got something good to use. So let me share a couple examples. So we're trying to do a poster of this font that explains the font. Gives people an idea. I'm going to try to show a bunch of different examples. Let's do number 1. Okay, so here's Futura. So this is a pretty minimal poster. I think that a little bit more information would be good, although it's such a great use of opacity and color. Obviously, you've got the name of the designer there, and you have the year. I think more information is better, but this is a good example, mainly because it just is a great example of use of the typeface in a pretty modern way that reflects the era that the font was created. Let me show you another one. Here's again another Futura one. We are just doing one poster. In the past, I've done this class where we've done a set of 3 posters. Again, that's another way to take this project from a project you do in type and then move it into your portfolio. Some of the examples also, students have done that where they did one, which was really good. And then when they get to portfolio, I say, hey, this is such a great poster. Let's do 2 more. And we do a poster series. So this is that example. Again, great opacity, different color, slightly different outline. This one, the difference was in the first poster, it was slanted, but all the letters were in the same direction. And in this iteration of this poster, they started to turn the letters. So this one violated some of the rules to this project. And again, I outline the rules that I'm encouraging you to use. But if you come up with a great idea during your research and you want to use an image other than the font itself, I'm up for that. So this is on Dito, which is not one of the ones anyone is using. And in the research, during the time period, there were several artists who drew in a certain style. And so they used this. It was a French artist, and this was one of his sketches. Then obviously this is a paragraph that describes the historical context of the typeface. And the typeface also has some other characters that have been expanded on. So there was a whole list. Dito in particular has a lot of shapes and things like the ampersand or paragraph divisions that were part of the font. And so I let them use that. So this is a great example of slightly modifying the project. Got a couple examples here more. This project has ended up in a lot of people's portfolios. It's one of the reasons I'm showing. So the next two, again, is Futura. This is a little bit more like this project, and I think it's that I've outlined. So obviously you've got the name of the font that has to be on there. You have the designer. You have the year that the font was created, and a interesting design of that year, playing around with the year. Then some shapes that go along with the font, then information about the font. So here is a little paragraph about Futura, and then here are some taglines, things pulled out about the font themselves, other words, although it's in Futura typeface. Note that, for example, this looks like a shape, but that's really part of a letter being used, part of the O, I think, could be another letter, used in the shape. And then nice use of rules in it that go along with the typeface itself. Good cropping, nice cropping of this one. Let me show you another version of this. I think this is my last example. And these are on the module itself. Again, so this was a case where the student did this project for me in this class. It turned out really well. I can't remember which one was the original and which one was the expanded one. And then they did 2 more posters and they put it in their portfolio. So again, still using the name, the designer, this interesting combination of the 1927. So he has it written out, then he has it combined. Actually, I think this was a she, not a he, sorry. And then putting that same information in a shape that echoes the crossbar of the lowercase f. Again, here's this cropped O. Here's the tagline again. Nice use of the rules. Again, this looks like just a triangle cropped out of the poster, but it actually is another just giant letter stuck in there. Good use of colors too. Also based on the research that the student did for this. Let's go back to one other thing, I think. See. Okay, questions about the assignment? Thoughts?
I have a question about the vocabulary.
Okay.
Is the vocabulary supposed to be done on that Word document or in any, like, or by the that one tic-tac-toe board that you had?
Your choice. You can, yeah, you can keep turning it in as the Quizlet or the tic-tac-toe board or whatever.
Okay.
Or you can turn it in just on the, just as the definitions.
All right. Thank you.
Either one. Okay, so just looking at, and I don't know if on the assignment sheet I've got the deadlines. Oh, here's some more examples. Sorry, I forgot. On the assignment sheet itself, there are some examples. Again, of Futura, Bodoni, Rockwell, some other examples that came out pretty good. And again, we're trying not to do something this complex. This is really a magazine article. So we're trying not to do something like that complex. It's a little too much, possibly, in the thumbnail sheets.
I do have a question actually.
Sure.
Just for inspiration like purposes to like kind of get an idea of what we want to do.
Yep.
Is there any like I guess what would we look up if we wanted to find like inspiration for this kind of poster?
Google is a good place to go, and look up. Just type in type specimen poster, or type in posters. Go into the which typeface are you assigned to?
Georgia.
Georgia. Obviously, you could go in and look up Georgia and see what people have done with it. Posters in Georgia and that type of thing. Although the inspiration does not have to be for your typeface.
Okay.
Yeah. Cast around. Google is very good. Google image searches. Although Behance, interesting to search posters in Behance that people have done. Type specimens. A lot of those are student work on there, which is interesting. Also, DeviantArt is also a good place to look up work of that type. And we are going to do. Obviously, you got to do the essay, and then I want you to post your 10 inspirations. So I know I've had students in the past say to me, "Oh, I wish I'd done the thumbnails first, and then I look up inspiration." So obviously, the inspiration you don't want to copy one as your poster, but they'll give you an idea. Are you trying to use giant letters cropped? Are you trying to emphasize the paragraph more of the information? So just to give yourself some things to play around with before we do the thumbnails and the research. And I put that in that order. I know some students like doing it the other way, but I've sort of stuck with this one. So we're trying to get some research done by Wednesday at midnight, which is your 10 inspiration posters. And then the thumbnails and the essay are due Sunday. Then we're going to look at them, the thumbnails. Then roughs will be due next Wednesday, the 28th. And then the final poster is not due till 2 Sundays from now on November 1st. So we have 2 weeks on this one, which is similar to what we did last time. Do any of you guys have any friends in the other type class that's being taught by the other professor?
No.
No. Okay. Because we're a little off from them. So I know every once in a while, sometimes students, if you know another person in the type class, we are not exactly on the same deadlines that they are. We are just slightly off. So that is sometimes confusing. Okay. Questions? So do some research, find some posters. Obviously, look at my examples. Every example I just showed you is on the blackboard. Also, there's those examples on the assignment sheet. Find some of your own, post those. I think it's easier to cut and paste those in a Word document. But you could also just put them all in a folder and turn them in that way. Either one.
Wait. So you said that for all the inspirations, we didn't have to turn them in as a folder? Or you talked about the whole thing?
I actually just noticed that I said it two different ways. So either way is fine. The folder's fine. I have had students just stick all the images in a Word document and turn it in like that.
Okay. Well, that's what I did.
Yeah. Either way is fine.
Okay.
Because sometimes the zip folder with a bunch of images, I have to say some of those don't always launch for me to look at very well. That's okay. questions? Okay, so that's what we're working on. We're working on the next assignment. So vocabularies due this Friday on grids, and that's in the module. And then we're starting with the inspiration due Friday. Did I say that? Wednesday. Inspiration due Wednesday, and then we can look at those, and then thumbnails. And in class on Wednesday, if you've worked on the thumbnails or the essay, I'd be glad to go over those with y'all. Okay. Any questions? Did I mention you guys November 20th? Put that on your calendar. Did you guys see that announcement?
Yeah.
Okay. The designer for Bricks Pizza is going to talk to us on, and other classes at 10 o'clock on November 20th. So just try to get that on your calendar so you can join us with that. Anyone trying to go into class on campus? Just to remind you, you can do that. The labs are open. You have to send Mr. Perry an email, and he has to go over the safety protocols with y'all. But it's pretty easy. Several students are going in. You just have to, again, meet with him, go over the protocols, and then sign up for a time. But it is certainly available if you need to, especially if like your laptop crashes and you need a computer. Okay. Okay. I will see y'all on Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a good day.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a good day.